Under the hush of a rain-slick evening, Ethan Hale walked the long way home, his boots soft against the glistening pavement. In one arm, he carried his son, Noah, the boy's cheek heavy against his father's shoulder, lost to the rhythm of sleep. The city was mostly quiet at this hour, the last of the shops shuttering, lamplights stretching halos across puddles. Ethan's thoughts were simple: get Noah home, heat the leftover soup, and end another day without incident. But the street had other plans. Across the way, where the glow of a flickering street lamp met the edge of shadow, Ethan's gaze caught a sight that pulled him still. A woman in uniform, her badge dimly glinting, her stance taut, was pressed against the wall by two men. One of them had a hand much too close to her holster, the other's voice low with threat. For a moment, Ethan thought of passing by, of keeping Noah out of harm's reach. But then the boy stirred faintly, and Ethan felt the weight of responsibility, not only for his child, but for the world his child was growing up in. He shifted Noah carefully into the warm doorway of a shop, tucking his jacket around him, whispering, "Stay here, buddy. Just a moment." The boy blinked, drowsy but trusting. Ethan stepped into the drizzle, shoulders squared, every line of his body recalling a discipline long left behind. He moved quietly, not rushing. A sudden shove against the nearer man disrupted the balance of power. Startled, the attacker swung back, only to meet Ethan's calm, unyielding stare. The pause was enough. Officer Clara Reyes twisted free, elbowed the second man hard enough to send him staggering, and in a blur of retreat the pair of them scattered into the night, their bravado stolen by the presence of someone unafraid. Breathing heavy, Clara pressed a hand against her ribs, bruised but unbroken. She looked at the stranger who had stepped in, not in uniform, not carrying authority, but holding a strength she recognized instantly. Behind him, a small boy peeked from the shop doorway, clutching the edge of his father's jacket. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice raw. Ethan shrugged it away, wiping rain from his brow. "You would have handled it." But his knuckles were scraped, blood bright against pale skin. And Noah, solemn in the way of children who understand danger without words, pulled a crumpled candy from his pocket and walked over to Clara, holding it up with a seriousness that cut through the night. Clara's lips parted, softening as she bent to accept it. "For me," the boy nodded. Ethan's chest tightened at the simple kindness, at how his son always seemed to give where he himself only withdrew. That was the first thread. The sirens came too late, their flashing lights sweeping over the wet pavement. Clara waved them off, standing straighter than she felt, insisting she was fine. And when she turned again, the stranger and his boy were already slipping away, fading into the quiet like a chapter unfinished. She should have let it go. Yet days later, she found herself tracing the memory of his face, the stillness of his voice. Gratitude tugged her back. She asked around, pieced together where he lived. And so one late afternoon, she knocked at the modest apartment door. Ethan opened it, wary. His home was small, worn but steady, the air carrying the cedar scent of wood shavings. Wooden toys lined a low shelf, horses, trucks, figures carved with care. On the mantel, a photograph of a smiling woman caught Clara's eye. She knew without asking. The absence in the room spoke louder than the photo. Ethan offered coffee, his politeness edged with distance. He lived for his son, and she sensed he had built walls so high they almost touched the ceiling. Still she lingered, and when Noah shyly placed a drawing in her lap, a crooked house with 3 figures holding hands, she felt something shift. Clara began appearing more often, not intruding, but weaving herself gently into their days. Sometimes she brought groceries. Other times she brought nothing but her steady presence. Noah grew fond of her, slipping little notes into her jacket pocket, simple messages written in uneven scrawl. "Stay safe. Come back soon." Each one a ritual of belonging. Evenings found Clara by their window at dusk, speaking quietly with Ethan about things that mattered and things that didn't. She attended Noah's school event unasked, standing in the back while father and son beamed in the glow of stage lights. At Ethan's kitchen sink, she rinsed cups beside him, silence filling with something heavier than words. But no bond is without weight. One evening, Tension cracked. Ethan, weary from work, accused her of stepping too close into a life he had sworn to shield. She snapped back, voice trembling, accusing him of pushing away the very hands that longed to help. "You don't want anyone near. You're not protecting him. You're imprisoning yourself." His reply was sharp, grief sharpened into defense. "Noah can't lose another mother. I can't watch that happen again." The words hung like smoke, and she left with her jaw tight, her heart aching. For weeks, distance grew. Clara threw herself into duty. Ethan buried himself in carpentry, carving toys late into the night. But the absence was felt by Noah most of all, who asked where she had gone, his small voice holding the ache of abandonment too familiar for his young age. The turn came sudden. A night patrol gone wrong, a suspect breaking free near Ethan's neighborhood. Clara pursued, but the chase ended with her falling hard against concrete, pain stealing her breath. She collapsed not far from Ethan's building. It was Noah who found her, tugging at his father's sleeve with urgency. "Dad, it's her." Ethan rushed out, kneeling, cradling her against his chest. She was conscious, eyes glazed with pain, lips trembling. He whispered words he had never allowed himself. "I've got you. You're safe now." For Clara, who had learned to trust only herself, those words were almost unbearable in their gentleness. She let herself lean against him, let herself be carried not as an officer, but as a woman whose strength had faltered. In the days of her recovery, Ethan insisted she stay with him. Noah was delighted, hovering like a small guardian. He declared, without hesitation, "You're family now." Meals became a shared ritual. Laughter, halting but genuine, returned to the walls. One evening, Ethan and Clara's hands brushed as they washed dishes, lingering longer than necessary. Neither pulled away. The quiet deepened. Late one night, with rain tapping softly at the window, Ethan lit a single candle. It was his ritual since his wife's passing, a flame to mark memory, to hold the dark at bay. Clara joined him, sitting in silence as the flame flickered. Her hand found his, steady. He breathed out what had been locked inside. "I never imagined reward would mean this, you." Clara rested her head against his shoulder, her voice only a whisper. "Then don't imagine any more. Just live it." The silence afterward was no longer emptiness. It was the shape of home. In Noah's room, the boy slept, toy wooden horse clutched to his chest, a smile soft on his lips. In the living room, Ethan and Clara remained together on the couch, the candle burning low. The night no longer heavy, but alive with promise. And for the first time in years, Ethan breathed not as a man guarding against loss, but as a man receiving grace. Some rewards are not given by the world, but by the quiet of a hand finding yours when the night feels longest. If this story touched your heart, let its warmth travel further. Share it, subscribe, and walk with us again. Because every story like this reminds us that kindness, love, and second chances still move quietly among us.